Welcome back, everyone. Exciting. I'm excited. I hope you're excited as well. It's feels like it's been a million years since the last episode, and I think probably about 1 year or so. And we are excited to begin season 2 of our podcast, Pay Attention, where we talk about payments and things that interest me, and hopefully a couple of other people as well. We are doing something a bit different this time because we're also not just recording my voice, but also recording this on video so you guys can see how the magic happens behind the scenes. And hopefully this doesn't scare off a lot of the listeners, and we still have a few remaining with us. Today we have a very interesting episode, not just because I have with me a potted plant, but also because we're going to be talking about the future of payments and what I think will happen at least in 2024, but also I will talk about some of the trends that would extend beyond 2024. And hopefully you've missed me, guys, as much as I've missed you. So to begin, I want to start off with like a very heavy note, and nothing is better than quoting old people. So the Talmud says that from the day that the Holy Temple was destroyed, prophecy has been taken from the prophets and was given to fools and babies. And since we have a video, you can definitely see that I'm not a baby. So I'm going to try in the next 30-ish minutes to be as much of a fool as possible. I take no responsibility for anything I'm about to say. It's purely my opinion. But basically, that's why you're here, to hear my opinion. So, trends for 2024 and beyond. What are we going to see? Some of the things that I'm about to say, just as a caveat, we've talked about before. And I have 2 challenges in this episode. The first challenge is I'm a bit sick, so I'm going to try and do this whole podcast recording without coughing one single time. The second challenge that I have is I'm going to do my best not to say AI. So I'm going to say this one more time and that's it. I am not going to say AI during this podcast, not because I think that it's not important or it's not one of the trends, but it's going to be a main, spoiler alert, topic in an upcoming webinar that we're hosting. And I don't want to spoil the surprise for you. You're going to have to listen to that as well. So with these 2 challenges ahead of us, I'm going to jump right into this and talk about the first thing that I think will happen in 2024 and beyond, and that is digital payments. So one of the things that we've seen, and we talked about it also last year, is that there is a shift towards digital payments in the world, and that shift will continue to grow. It is exponentially growing year after year, and it will continue to grow, and we will see significant drops in cash usage and increased uses of digital payment solutions. Right now, as of 2023 figures, we already know that using physical cash for making payments, it's down to less than 20% of total payments in the world. Admittedly, some countries it's more, some countries it's less, but overall in the world, it's less than 20%. And by 2030, this is where you should, really hold your chairs. It is expected by 2030 to increase by 200% compared to 2023 figures. So if you're still using cash, it will probably be a relic of the past in the next future. Now, there are it's not a trend that is accepted happily by everyone. Yes, it's mostly pushed by both governments for security reasons, tax evasion reasons, etc., or combating tax evasions. but also consumer convenience. It is more convenient to pay with digital payment methods. And we do expect this to continue. However, there are a lot of people that they don't like using digital payments for a variety of reasons. One, probably I would say the contradiction to everything I said. They want to maintain their privacy. They don't want the government to know what they're spending their money on. Not necessarily because of any bad things that they are trying to hide, but just they prefer to have their privacy. It's a way of life for some people. Some people, my dad including, feels naked if he doesn't have at least a couple of banknotes in his wallet. And also we have older people that they just feel more comfortable with what they know rather than adopting new technologies. And we think that there will be a pushback, but overall, this is where the world is going to. And we'll start seeing more and more this becoming the norm. It is already the majority of payments these days, but still it's going to be virtually impossible to pay with anything that is not cash. And that kind of leads me to the next thing that is going to be very interesting during 2024, 2025. And that is central bank digital currencies. So it is a subset. So it's not a new trend completely. It is a subset of digital payments. So I know from like some of the conversations I've had with the listeners of this podcast and the emails, which, by the way, thank you very much for sending us your emails and comments. It's very much appreciated. There's a lot of discussion and a lot of, I don't want to say controversy, but like heated debates about cryptocurrency, where it's going, how popular is it a currency despite the name or a digital asset? But it is definitely here to stay. And I don't want to talk about that per se, because I don't have anything very smart to say. But one thing that we will start seeing more and more in the next 2 years is central bank digital currencies. So these are digital currencies that are not decentralized like Bitcoin or Ethereum, etc., but instead are centralized. They're issued by the central bank within each country, and that gives it a bit more legitimacy. So we see a lot of very interesting initiatives worldwide with regards to CBDCs or central bank digital currencies. Most notably, we see it in Sweden, which is been for many years now the forefront in digital payments and the transitioning to what they refer to as a cashless society. So we see very, very interesting tests that have been successfully concluded. And now the central bank is trying to push the adoption of the e-krona to also other banks within Sweden. We also have seen some interesting initiatives that are in the pilot phase in Israel with the digital shekel. We also have very interesting debates, although not yet a proof of concept in the UK and in some additional markets. We know that the US is tinkering with this a bit, and this is definitely something that we will see moving forward, becoming a thing. I think that 2024, 2025 will be the year that we will actually start seeing real world implications of this, and we will be able to use CBDCs as part of the payment ecosystems. Why? First of all, governments are pushing this because if payments are digital, there is less room for money laundering, tax evasion, different problematic things that the world is currently dealing with, evading sanctions, etc. And it also offers to be a convenient method for consumers as well. And I think we will see this push from two directions. One coming from the consumers, the push towards having something that's more convenient, more easy to use, more secure, and from the governments pushing to something that is more transparent and gives them more information about the turnovers and spending habits, and both from businesses as well as consumers. And since both of these forces are combined in this trend, I think it's definitely something that is going to happen. The only, I would say, the only pushbacks against this are one, adoption by different, because it is something new, so obviously adoption is going to be an issue. And the second thing is privacy and security concerns. But yeah, that's definitely going to be a thing. The second big thing, and again, what I'm saying is nothing that you haven't seen before, or some of the things we've even talked about before in previous episodes, but definitely a trend that is going to increase during 2024 and 2025 is the whole topic of embedded finance and embedded payments. Just to put this into perspective for those of you who are not familiar with the term, in the past, and when I say past, I mean like a month ago, in the past, the payment ecosystem was, you have businesses, you have payment services providers, and you have consumers. And we are gradually seeing more and more businesses that are embedding payment capabilities and financial capabilities within their own offering. So they are becoming financial institutions, even if their main business is not being a financial institution. So we see this, for instance, with companies like Uber, for instance, putting in different financial solutions and being able to offer financial solutions for their drivers and consumers as well. We see this in other companies that are also expanding this, and this is definitely something that a lot of companies will be looking at. If during 2022, 2023, the trend was big companies were sort of dipping their toes in that particular pond, just to see how it works. Can they expand the range of services that they're offering? Can they also become a financial institution? And I think the biggest example to this that everybody knows is Apple. Apple, which late last year started offering bank accounts in the US in addition to their credit card. What we will see during 2024 and 2025 is that following these big companies, the trend is going to be having smaller companies, medium-sized, smaller companies, also becoming a bit more involved and embedding financial and payment services within their offering. And I think it's sort of my personal take on this is it's a bit of a mixed bag, I would say. On the one hand, I think it's good that there are more players coming into the financial sphere. I think competition make things better for the consumers and for everyone involved in the ecosystem. However, I think some of the downside of this is that it also concentrates power in the hands of some players that have quite a lot of power as is, and having monopolies, that is actually not a good thing, because it decreases competition, and at the end of it ends pretty badly for the consumers, because it gives them less and less choices, and we don't want to get to a situation where you as a consumer are forced to use a certain payment method or a financial services simply because you want to buy a product, and that's the only option that is given to you. I could name a company that does this and shame them, but I will not do that. You all know who I'm talking about. So that is with regards to embedded finance and payments. We will be starting to see more and more of this. And for now, I think it's a good thing. let's do this episode again, beginning of 2025, and maybe I'll have a different opinion. But right now, the way it's looking, I think it's more a force for good than a force for evil. But yeah, we'll see. The next trend that I want to talk about, and again, I'm talking about something that didn't start in 2024. It started last year, even at late 2022, but it's increasing in 2024, and we'll start seeing some interesting things here. And that is the buy now, pay later payment methodology. So this is in the last couple of years, this has really been booming. We've seen a real shift in how consumers use this, I would say, payment option, payment model. It's been really skyrocketing in popularity across basically almost everywhere in the world. Virtually every shop is offering this option right now. And it's given a lot of big advantages to consumers, especially with more expensive products, allowing more people to be able to purchase these products and have access to them, which they didn't have beforehand. However, now everything I've said up until now, except it's going to be continue to grow in popularity, etc. All of this is not new. We could have done this episode beginning of 2023, and I would have said exactly the same. However, with the increased popularity, what we are starting to see, we started to see this a bit trickle in 2023, and definitely it's going to be in 2024, is regulators and consumer protection agencies are starting to take notice. There's been a lot of push of buy now, pay later solutions, some of it catering to vulnerable populations, for instance, kids. The interest rates for some of these solutions has been ridiculous, in the 40, 50, even 60% interest rates. And there's a lot of concern about the spread of this. And regulators are starting to take stock of these concerns and are starting to actually take action in limiting, first of all, the companies that can offer buy now, pay later to the, I would say, the market conditions that they are able to offer, who they're able to target to, what kind of marketing messages are they allowed to employ, when, and all of this is going to be more regulated than it is now. I know there's been some controversies surrounding buy now, pay later, both in the UK as well as in Australia. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of other countries, at least from my secret sources, there's going to be regulatory changes, and there's going to be a lot more scrutiny about this. And I think it's a positive trend. I think we see this a lot in a lot of new industries. So regulators tend to be a bit slower than the market in terms of because to be fair with them, there are a lot of things that they need to account to. They need to account to changes in technology. They need to account to changes in consumer preferences. They need to account to different marketing and business changes. And oftentimes, because it's easy for us to sort of wag our fingers and say, oh, these regulators, they're always late to the party. But you have to understand that resources are always limited, and regulators oftentimes, they want to sit on the sidelines, see where things are developing. There's no point in taking a very strong regulatory stance towards something that may not develop into an actual trend or an actual payment method or an actual thing that consumers will use. Second thing is you need to give it time to fester and develop all of the negative things that they will be able to see, because not everything is possible to predict. And I think we've reached this maturity stage with buy now, pay later that will lead to regulators starting to look at this. And also from my experience, once one regulator picks it up and starts running with it, other regulators take notice and they're looking at what the other regulator did, why they did that, how did that affect the markets, and we start seeing different trends being copied, regulation being copied, etc. So yeah, definitely something to pay attention to if you are engaged in the buy now, pay later buy-in as either a consumer, a merchant, or a provider. I think your life is going to be changing in the next year or so. I wanted to finish with something a bit sexy. And the reason I find it sexy is because I think that to me, one of the most interesting things is always when payments and technology sort of mix together. I personally, as someone who really likes technology and really likes payments, the combination is something that I find very, very interesting. So one of the things that we started to see experimentation with at the end of 2023, but we will start seeing adoption, in my view, in 2024, is voice-activated payments. So voice-activated payments is transactions that are initiated and authenticated using voice recognition technology. So just think of using your virtual assistant, be it Alexa or Google Assistant or Siri, and just telling Siri, buy me a cup of coffee, or Siri, go to Amazon and buy me a pair of socks. And you will be able to not only you will be able not only to initiate that payment, because today you can initiate that payment and you will probably get varying degrees of success with that, but you will be able to initiate the transaction, but you will not be able to complete it. So you'll be able to complete the payment all through your voice interaction, and it will be fully authenticated transaction, similar to what you do today when you authenticate a transaction via your Face ID or fingerprint, etc. Now, this opens up a whole list of very interesting possibilities. Just imagine yourself, going for a run in the park, and while you're running, already calling your favorite coffee shop to order your coffee to be waiting for you once you finish the run, or you're in the kitchen, you're cooking something, your hands are busy, and you're already making your purchases for all of the groceries that you are now using. So you can cook tomorrow as well. And a couple of really additional things. One of the key cool things that I've seen is people that are, this has actually been in pilot in Korea. And I've seen this, people driving in the car, traffic jam. They're using their voice assistant to basically purchase things at a supermarket that operates a delivery drive-in. So you buy everything while you're in the traffic jam. You get to the shop. You just get to the drive-in. You open the trunk. People put everything you've ordered inside your trunk, and then you go home. Maximum efficiency. And this is the way the world is going to, and this is going to make life easier and cooler for a lot of people. And that's all I have for today. The thing is, there's like a million things happening, and there's a lot of things that are developing, and a lot of things that are changing that has been in existence for many years. But we need to have to leave something for also additional episodes. Otherwise, we're gonna end it with a cliffhanger. And I've succeeded with basically my two missions for today. Three missions. One, I hoped I was interesting and didn't scare you off with the video. Second thing, I did not cough, not even once during this recording, which is amazing because I really wanted to. And the third thing, I also didn't talk about that thing I told you I'm not going to talk about. But if you do want to hear me talk about that thing I told you that I'm not going to be talking about, you can look at our webinar that we had on the 29th of February 2024, where we talked a lot about different and future trends in risk management in particular, and also we talked about that. And I know it's been a very, very long break from having these episodes, but it's good to be back. It's good to have you guys back. And I'd like to remind you all that we still have the email address that you can send your questions, your comments, your requests to podcast@fibonatix.com. We're always happy to get your feedback, your questions, and your insightful comments. And I'd like to also thank The Potted Plant for joining me and providing much needed insight. So thank you guys, and see you in the next episode.